Regina, what makes you the best candidate for the mayor's position in '96 that will tell voters that they should vote for you on Election Day?
I think probably my commitment to seeing progress in the community is probably the biggest thing. I've had a lot of successes that I can attribute to just my business savvy, business acumen, and I feel strongly that the community needs a mayor that can run the city like a business. And so because I have so much experience, I do believe that I'm the most qualified person.
Okay. What is the single most important issue that you see facing '96 that gives us insight on how you will make a positive improvement on it?
I think right now we seem like a town divided. I think that there just not a lot of people excited about living in this community. And I think that with the type of spirit and energy that I'll bring to the table will probably excite and bring a new spirit to the community. I think we need a lot of help. It's not going to be something one person can do. And right now there's just people sitting back waiting to see us fail, and I want to get excited. I want people to get involved. I want to try to re-engage people in the civic process. I want people to feel like they belong to the community. And so I think that that's going to be something that I'm really going to work on.
Okay. Do you agree with having town council members occupying seats on other committees such as the Chamber of Commerce or the Historic Development Association? And let me give you a situation or an example. Say for instance the Historic Development Association votes to take some action requiring a request from the town for funds. Currently you have 2 members on the town council about to vote that are also members of the Historic Development Association. Explain how you feel about this particular situation, and do you think it's a good practice or a bad practice, and please explain.
I don't think, one of the things you have to understand about small communities is there's a handful of people that are the ones that are usually doing everything. However, when it becomes a conflict of interest like that, I'm totally against it. I don't think that it's good practice. I think there has got to be accountability with city officials, and that would start with not being able to serve on those type of boards where there's a conflict of interest. It just doesn't make any sense to do that.
Okay. Ordinances have been a hot topic lately, with some saying that the town has not been fair on the enforcement of the ordinances. What is your take on this situation, and how, in your view, should the town handle the ordinance situation?
I would tend to agree that there has not been a lot of enforcement of certain ordinances, but there are a lot of ordinances that need to be amended, need to be changed as well. I laugh and talk to people about the fact that there's an ordinance that talks about your right to have a hitching post in front of your building so you can tie your horses up. So I think that there are ordinances that need to be enforced, but I think somebody needs to take a hard look at the ordinances that are on the book and bring them into the 21st century as well.
Okay. What is your idea, and how can you as mayor help bring commerce into '96 and help the town prosper?
I think that's probably going to be one of my biggest areas of strength. I have been Director of Economic Development for 2 rural communities. I have helped 2 communities become communities of excellence. And under that program, the things that we focused on is how to market your community, how to build business-friendly policies, how to get assistance for helping the community to grow. I know how to make trade show trips. I know how to make visits to other communities or other states to attract businesses to the community. This is not something that you can just jump into and think it's going to happen. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of things that go on behind trying to attract an industry or business. And sometimes you got to start with, what does our infrastructure look like? Do we have the type of water? Do we have the type of electricity hookups and things that would promote an industry coming here? And if not, you got to address it from that side. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and there's a lot of trained professionals that do this, and I've been in that position before, so I feel like that will actually be something I'll be able to bring some strengths to the community with my experiences.
Okay. What will you do in office to help kids, specifically in the age group of 8 to 15 years old? What activities will they have to do in the town?
That's actually one of my passions. I kind of get a twinkle in the eye, I think, when I talk about that. I don't know, a lot of the people in the community may not know, but I held a meeting recently with kids from the age of 16 to 19. And I met with them. I invited just the children, and I wanted to know what they thought the community needed to be doing. I wanted to know what they felt like was the strengths and the weaknesses of the community. And overwhelmingly, a skating park was brought up. Having basketball courts and tennis courts came up from several of them. They want a place to hang out. They want a place to be able to go to have things to do. We did address things like drugs and why are kids trying drugs, and if we do all this, will it curb the drug issues that are going on in the community? And it was so interesting because they were so honest. They said, I doubt it. Most of us try drugs just because we want to try them. But I think their opinion was it would cut down on vandalism. It cuts down on some of the little petty theft stuff that goes on and things like that, because the kids will have something to do. So I definitely am totally in support of doing things like skate parks, putting basketball courts back in, putting the tennis courts back in, having something for these kids to do. And then something else that's been part of my platform is teaching them to be civically responsible. I think it's very, very important that age group start to get involved in the community, start to get to be responsible for their own actions, because we're going to wake up one day, we're going to look, and they're going to be our leaders. So if we don't start teaching them responsibility now, who's going to teach it to them? So I think we need to start engaging these kids in the civic process as well. Let them be in charge of their own activities. Let them come up with ideas that will suit them, and give them the power and the authority to do those things.
Now, since you mentioned the skate park a couple times, what about the liability issue? Because that's come up before and it's been stopped or not talked about or discussed because of liability issues.
I think if you let liability issues be the issue of not doing something, you're never going to get anything accomplished around here. I've told some of my friends before, if Greenwood can do it, we can do it in '96. And so I'm sure with anything you do, there's going to be liabilities, but we just have to make sure we put things into place to protect us as a city, and I think we'll be fine.
Okay. What is your view of the recent controversy regarding the police department issuing traffic tickets? Would you, as mayor, handle this situation differently, and explain how?
I do. There are some concerns of mine that the way the police officers have handled it may not have been the most effective way. I don't totally hold them accountable, because I do believe the mayor plays a big role in the responsibility of leading the police department. I think that we have got to get back to some grassroots type of things. I do believe that we have a bad public relations attitude with our police department. The police officers need to be doing things that connect with people. They need to be seen more. They need to be out in the community, letting people know who they are. And then there is definitely a way. I talked to Gerald Brooks, the police chief in Greenwood, the other day, and I asked him his opinions on some things. And he was sharing with me some wonderful ideas. He says, you know, our folks know how to write tickets, but how you issue a ticket could be as simple as take the phrase, have a nice day. If somebody tells you have a nice day and you've just left the bank, that's wonderful. But if somebody hands you a ticket and says have a nice day and you've just got a speeding ticket, that's going to set them off. So there are little things like that police officers need to learn to go through to, I think they need to hold people accountable. I think that if you're speeding, you should be stopped. But there's a whole different way of doing that, and I think they need some of those soft skills type training that goes along with being a police officer. But I think it's just the whole public relations side of the police officers right now that's really hurting their credibility.
Okay.